pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Roll it.
Welcome to The Point.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? And welcome back to the one, the only, The Point. Of course, I am your boy, Ricky B. And on the other side of the screen is...
The man, the myth, the wannabe legend.
the legend, the man known as Haystacks, Mr. Scotty Newland. Now, today is St. Patrick's Day, right? So, got to give a big shout out to everybody out there on St. Patty's Day. And yes, I'm that dumbass. I'm that idiot. Right, here we go. See, I'm ready. Haystacks, I'm ready.
I got my green.
There you go. So nobody can pinch you. Nobody can pinch me either. Now, moving on. My head's way too big for this damn thing, but I bought that just for all y'all out there in the Point Nation. So, Scotty, Haystacks, let's just jump right the hell into this, because the whole sports world may be coming to a hell. The whole world itself may be coming to a screeching halt, but the damn Point ain't going anywhere. No. We are on episode number 6, and I don't know if you saw, Haystacks, but episode 5 was off the chain. Over 6,000 views in just over a month's time. I don't know that we could ask any more than that.
No. And I think that's going to be a huge shout out to our special guests that we've had the last couple weeks. I appreciate everybody tuning in every week, supporting the cause, man. Finally hit our 100 subs today. That's huge. So appreciate everybody smashing that subscribe button, showing us the love. 100 subscribers and well over 11,000 views in 6 weeks. Absolutely.
We're killing it. And when I say we, I'm not talking about me and you. I'm talking about the whole Point Nation, letting their voices be heard with these views, these subscribes, these video shares. The analytics speak for themselves, man. We could not be any happier. Again, thank you. Now, moving on, the story around the world, COVID-19, otherwise known, a.k.a. the coronavirus. I know we're not talking about the damn beer. I know there's some people out there in this day and time that actually still believe the shit started from beer. But the coronavirus.
Beer never did nothing to nobody.
Exactly. Not a thing. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But the coronavirus, however, is the end-all, be-all. We're all going to die. Everybody's, buying all the toilet paper and all the chicken and the pork and the steak and the paper towels and the every damn thing under the sun. And we've talked about this a few times, and I know this is a sports show, but we're going to get real here in this episode, because although there is a lot of sports news out there right now, the actual competition, other than the junior colleges didn't have any problem getting down and getting dirty. We'll get to that in a minute. Shout out to the Flyers, your national champions once again. But, there's a whole lot to get to. But let's get down to the coronavirus itself. It is taking over the world on this St. Patty's Day. At least it seems that way. But people will believe, it seems like, anything they hear and see. And if that's the case, Haystacks, let's give it to them raw. Let's give them the truth. First and foremost, I want to say these little masks that everybody are wearing. I don't know if that's just a fad, if they actually believe that shit helps anything, but it doesn't. It doesn't help you keep from contracting it or spreading it. Have you seen that in your area?
Yes, everybody that comes through our store has been wearing it. Honestly, all that goes back to is, what was it? World-ending pandemic number 3, I believe, when everybody in China had SARS and they said wear the face masks, and that's all they showed on the news for months and months and months.
Right.
Folks, it's completely different. This
Right.
isn't airborne. It can come in through your nose. It can get in through your eyes. It can get in through a cut on your finger. The face masks, they don't work.
Right. And the only masks that do work, so we can clarify, is the masks that you see that are for chemical use. They have the filters that you can actually replace that are interchangeable. If you're going to buy a mask and you're going to go out in public and you're going to be in high, dense, populated areas, I know they're a little more expensive, but if you're that scared that you're buying 35,000 rolls of toilet paper, you can afford that gas mask. Just saying. So what is the coronavirus exactly? The coronavirus disease, 2019, COVID-19. It's a respiratory illness that can spread from person to person. The virus that causes COVID-19 is a novel coronavirus that was first identified during an investigation into an outbreak in Wuhan, China. Now, how does it spread? According to the CDC, the virus that causes COVID-19 probably emerged from an animal. Now, there's a lot of people out there that some guy ate a bat and some bat soup in some third world country. No. Stop reading the damn internet. Stop listening to social media and wait for the true answers to come out. Stop spreading hysteria and just use your head for something other than growing hair. Now, going on, the virus is thought to spread mainly between people who are in close contact with one another within 6 feet through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Okay? Understand, when you sneeze, okay, you put out a cloud. You can't see it. I'm not going to get into this, too much in depth because I'm not a doctor. Neither are you. But we just want to give the Point Nation some real tips and some real information, not for views, not for likes, not for subscribes, but just so your ass is healthy, because we're all family. It's possible that a person can get it by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it and then touching their own mouth, nose, or possibly their eyes. Are you getting where I'm going with this? Don't touch your damn face when you're out in public grabbing doorknob after doorknob. Wash your hands. Do not touch your face. I know my daughter, I'm on her ass constantly, before this even started, especially during flu season. Don't touch your damn face, okay? The symptoms of COVID-19, mild to severe respiratory illness with symptoms of fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Understand the difference between this and the flu, okay? Fever, cough, and shortness of breath. If you have all of those come on all of a sudden, now keep in mind, you may have this virus for 7 to 15 days before you start showing symptoms. Okay, that's why this spreads so easily and it's so hard to contain, because you can have it, spread it to someone else before you even feel it. Me and Haystacks and you right now, you and I may have it right now and not even know. That's the scary part. There's no vaccine, but it is treatable. Other than that, the severe complications from the virus, some patients have pneumonia in both lungs, multi-organ failure, and in some cases death. That is rare. At last I read it was 0.2%, 0.02%, and that is people with pre-existing illnesses and immune system deals. And so how can you protect yourself? Again, wash your damn hands, take care of yourself. Don't be all up in each other's faces taking selfies. Don't be coughing and sneezing. Cover your damn mouth when you do, but don't touch your face. Just use common sense.
Don't be in the freaking Walmart, 12,000 people deep, buying everything that you can grab that isn't bolted down because your local governor said that they're closing down freaking bars and restaurants and stores at 9 o'clock. Folks, the world's not going to end. We're all not going to die. 12,000 people since November have died from the common flu. 5,120 have died in the last 3 months from the freaking coronavirus. The numbers don't lie. If you don't believe me, look up the website, look up the CDC website. The only difference is this spreads a little bit easier Other than that, chill.
Yeah, look, cdc.gov/COVID-19, COVID-19, if you want further information, real details. I think it's amazing to me. It's dumbfounding to me that the government screams. The whole state of North Carolina, where I live, the governor announced that he was shutting down public school systems for the next 2 weeks, from starting to the 16th, which was yesterday, all the way through next Friday. 2 weeks, which is a big deal. It's a big deal with public schools. And the government tells you not to be in big groups, not to be all up in each other's face, not to be in groups of 250 or more, or 200 or more. And what does everybody do? Somebody sees somewhere on the internet that it causes diarrhea, and you may be possibly quarantined, and everybody hauls ass to the grocery store like it's a field trip. They're all face to face taking selfies and laughing and carrying on and shaking hands, hugging and fist bumping, standing in line, buying all this shit. It blows my mind, man. The coronavirus is not going to wait for you to get all your groceries done and then go, okay, everybody in the house? All right, good, here we go. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, use common sense. Moving on. There's been a lot going on in the sports world. I know the sports world has come to a grinding halt. Unfortunately, the XFL has announced right alongside of a lot of other sports organizations that the season's over. And that's a damn shame. It's a shame for PJ Walker and the Roughnecks, first and foremost, and a lot of other teams that were just starting to come along. But, the NCAA shut down their tournaments. The ACC tournament, 12, 13, the number's probably grown since then. Conference tournaments have shut down. It's really taken a toll on the sports world, but there's a hell of a lot still going on, and we're going to get to it. And we're going to get to it right now. The first thing I want to touch on, Scotty, Haystacks, I keep going back and forth because I call you both all the damn time. You know what I mean? So,
hey, everybody knows me by either one.
True story. So the one I want to touch on, start on, is WrestleMania. Man, WrestleMania is in jeopardy. Now, I don't know if you've been watching it. Did you catch SmackDown?
I did. Boy.
Jeff Hardy made his big return.
That was embarrassing at best. They pretty much gave a pay-per-view away for free. They went and had all these, just like it was a regular intro for these wrestlers, Titantron, the whole nine, for absolutely no reason. And then they had the snafu, I believe it was the ladies tag team situation, where they were either doing the pre-match setup or went to a commercial break, and they just completely quit wrestling right in the middle of the match.
Yeah, and normally they wrestle through on commercial breaks because they're in front of a live crowd, but they're not there. And, and I thought me and you had talked about that, and I thought that was a pre-match run-through because the referee was out there, so it's kind of hard to tell. And we all know it's orchestrated, you know what I mean? But in this day and time, it's hard not to know that. But it turns out that the video we saw was in the international market, to where they didn't necessarily cut away like they were supposed to, because nobody was told to cut away and actually go to commercial instead of showing a little side by side. So somebody got a hold of that video and shared it, and it just doesn't look good. But as far as WrestleMania, go ahead.
It doesn't, but at the same time, and again, no offense, we've all been kids. We all believed at one time before the curtain call that everything that there was no such thing as kayfabe.
Right.
For anybody that watches this, don't know what kayfabe is. Kayfabe is not real. It's character work. But for the little kids that might be watching, yeah, it sucks. But for us adults, it's pretty cool to actually see the inner workings of the WWE. That these folks are actually working together to try to protect each other and going through their plan mid match to how they're going to close out this match and still make it entertaining without a soul in that building because they care about their craft enough to at least put on a show for us watching at home.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you got to give a shout out to all those guys. You know, I saw the promos that were dropped. I know one in particular, Roman, and then the interaction between Bray Wyatt and John Cena. The guys they're consummate professionals. You know, whether they're heels or faces, you know, good guy, bad guy on TV, they're consummate professionals because you saw it. I mean, hell, I can't think of a worse scenario. You know, and they had to come out and perform their entrances, the music, and not only that, they weren't able to communicate their spots during the match like they normally would be. So, hell, kudos to WWE, man, and those superstars. And Raw will be the same this coming Monday, which is a big one. I'm sorry. We record this on Sunday night, Monday morning, as if it's Tuesday when it airs. So, do forgive me. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Monday night. 316. They made a big deal about it. It's going to be at the Performance Center as well. And you can definitely see the takeaway without having the audience there. The effect on it is absolutely amazing. So fans of pro wrestling, that's right, pro wrestling. If you do not think you're important, watch Monday Night Raw this coming Monday or last night. Is that confusing as hell? Yes, it is. Of course it is. So anyway, getting back to WrestleMania, WWE issued a statement for WrestleMania 36, I believe it is, in Tampa. They said, while we remain committed to hosting WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium on Sunday, April 5th, we are putting contingency plans in place in the event that the event is canceled by government officials, civil authorities, and or local venues. They went on to say the health and safety of our fans, performers, and employers are our top priorities, and we are monitoring the situation closely with our partners and government officials in Tampa Bay. So what I think that means, Haystacks, is I think WrestleMania for the first time ever is going to be a whole lot like SmackDown was Friday and Monday Night Raw as well, without fans in attendance. Now, what does that mean for the city of Tampa?
That's rough. You just lost. You just lost your XFL season and your baseball season. You just lost your spring training, and your baseball season is getting ready to get shoved back. Plus, you turn around and you lose WrestleMania.
It's a big hit.
For anybody that doesn't know, if you have an event like WrestleMania that comes to your particular town, that's huge for the economy of your city. The money lost on that from tourism and everything else is going to be catastrophic.
Absolutely.
Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe these cities bid on these events to be able to get them.
Right. So we'll keep our eyes on it, man. We'll keep our eyes on it. You know, April 5th is what? A couple of weeks away. So, I mean, yeah, big news. This coronavirus thing continues to lock up the sports world, you know, like a 2-cycle engine missing oil, man. So it's going to be not fun. It's going to be hell to see exactly how it plays out. But you know, the WWE, just like any other entertainment company, they got brilliant minds in that company. They will make it work. They will figure it out. But again, the economy is going to take a hit either way. Now, moving right along, free agency. Free agency starts in, again, we're recording on Sunday night, even though this is the St. Patty's Day episode because it'll air on St. Patty's Day. Again, free agency starts in 12 minutes. And the biggest name on that list, in my opinion, is Tom Brady. Now, everybody's been on Brady watch, it seems, for the last several weeks. We've seen the commercials. Hell, we saw the commercial during the Super Bowl. Now, my personal opinion, I want to hear your opinion first. Where do you think Tom Brady is going to end up? Do you think he's doing all this for attention? Do you think he's doing all this for just to enjoy the ride because he's never experienced it before? Or do you think he's legit leaving the Patriots? Or is he going to retire?
I think, honestly, as everybody knows, Tom Brady's not about the money. the man is taking pay cut after pay cut after pay cut to have a solid team around him. Honestly, I think it's about 60% attention and 40% to see who actually goes after him. I honestly only see two places that he could possibly end up, and it's either re-signing with New England to retire as a Patriot, or if Dallas doesn't answer Dak Prescott, I could honestly see him giving Jerry Jones one season and possibly going to Dallas to win a Super Bowl.
Well, my personal opinion is, I don't know if you've noticed, in the last couple of days, the Patriots have been re-signing a lot of their players.
Yes.
McCourty signed an extension. I got another here in my notes that I'll get to later has signed an extension. I think they're doing that for a reason. They're putting that team up around Brady for one more run. And I think he's going to sign. And not only is he going to sign, but he is going to sign for a record low amount. Because I think Tom Brady's had numerous opportunities to leave New England. And I believe if he was going to leave New England, he would have done it before now. I do believe the relationship with him and Belichick isn't exactly what it was before. I don't, call me crazy, but I just can't see Tom Brady going to a whole new system, whole new playbook, whole new offensive coordinator, head coach, who's brand new, by the way. I just can't see him doing all of that for a one-year run. He's too far along in his career. He's an AFC guy, and Tommy want Winnie. Okay? He's not going to go somewhere where there's all these question marks. So, of course, you saw today, or again on Sunday, today you saw Ryan Tannehill just agree to a 4-year, $118 million contract with the Titans. And I'm looking at the odds right here, Haystacks. New England Patriots are minus 150. They are the odds-on favorites to re-sign the Patriots. And the closest thing in the rear was Tennessee at plus 500. And that is the Las Vegas betting odds. So these are guys who know a hell of a lot more than we do. And, of course, way above our pay grade. So if I have to put my stamp on it and tell you where I think he's going to be back in Boston, back in New England. And I do not think they'll make the Super Bowl. I do not think they'll even make the playoffs. And that's a bold statement, but it's the damn truth. If Brady has any sense, he'll retire instead of coming back, period. And the damn Patriots will trade up to get themselves a future quarterback. And I'll leave it there. But the top 3 free agents, one, of course, being Tom Brady, is, of course, Dak Prescott, and then Drew Brees. You think Drew Brees will be back in New Orleans?
I think so, and I also think that's a mistake. I like Drew Brees, but my God, he's just like Brady. He's what? Getting ready to turn over 45, I want to say.
He's got some age on him, but he's still doing his thing.
Oh yeah, he's definitely doing it. But let me try to look here real quick.
I see he's in the NFC South. It's hard for me to say because my Panthers are in the NFC South. But I love Breeze, man. It's hard for me to hate on the guy unless we're playing him.
Yeah. He definitely has a love for the game, but man.
As long as they keep the tools around him, man. As long as they keep the tools around him, he'll be all right. I don't see him playing more than another year or two.
Backup phone's crashing, so I want to say he's right around the same age as Brady. I think they came in around the same time.
Well, check this out. We're going to keep this moving. I don't know if you saw the big news out of Green Bay. We was talking about the Saints, right? There's a little man by the name of Jimmy Graham. Now, I'm sure you know that name. He was big deal in New Orleans, and he's kind of bounced around a little bit.
Right.
Well, the Green Bay Packers have just released him. So, oh, how the mighty have fallen. So that's going to add an interesting little tidbit in the tight end realm to the free agency. Now, we already know that the Panthers, of course, parted ways with Greg Olson with man, I love Greg Olson, man. He ended up quickly signing with one of the Panthers' biggest enemies, the Seattle Seahawks. So outside of our division. And that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. But nonetheless, Jimmy Graham is on the bubble, I guess you could say. He's floating around. Where do you think he lands?
That one's a tough one, man. You know me. I would love to see him wind up in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, that's a possibility. That really is a possibility when you think about it, man.
It is.
I don't know. What do they have in cap space?
Yeah, he's used to the cold weather environment. So,
what do they have in cap space? Do you know? Right off the top of your head?
Right off the top of my head, I do not know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to touch on something here in a little bit. The cap space has been extended.
When we go to break, I'll actually look up the Browns cap space, and we'll open up with that.
Got you. But real quick, Graham turned 33 in November. He's ranked the highest paid tight end in the NFL with an average salary of $10 million. He was scheduled to take up the second most salary cap space in the NFL at $11,666,668 in 2020 of any tight end in the league. So to let him go, it's smart on Green Bay's part as far as cap space. But man, I'm telling you, Green Bay's been struggling as of late, and Aaron Rodgers has been struggling, and it's not because of his ability; it's because what's around him. I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers, I really am. But when he don't have the tools around him, he's just like Cam Newton or anybody else. He can't get the damn job done. So I think that's a big hit. If you're Aaron Rodgers, I have to say he's probably feeling some kind of way about that. You know what I mean? So, well, Haystacks, real quick, we're going to go ahead and cut out of here and take a quick break and handle some business and let you guys know to stay tuned for next week for episode 7, coming hard and heavy. We're going to keep this bitch going. If the world stops, if the whole world comes crashing down and Haystacks and myself are in a damn bunker somewhere 20 feet underground, you can bet your ass the point's still going to be coming at you. But ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick break. We love you. See you on the flip.
Join us next week for another action-packed episode of The Point.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again from the break. This is the one, the only, The Point again with your boy Ricky B and Haystacks. Now, we were talking about the Cleveland Browns and cap space with Jimmy Graham, being cut or being released from the Packers, which I'm still dumbfounded by. And you were mentioning the Cleveland Browns, talking about their cap space. What did you find out?
Well, they have allowed their inside linebacker, Joe Schobert, to leave in free agency. So that right there is going to add an additional $7.5 million, taking their cap space now up to an available $65.8 million in available cap space.
Now, see, I don't know what their availability or what their need is at tight end, but Jimmy Graham, that helps any team. That's, again, like we talked about before the break, with a Jimmy Graham, it's almost the same league or damn near, or not, if not the same or better than Greg Olson's scenario. He's not going to be out there long. I think we can both agree to that. And I know he's bounced around a little bit, but man, if Cleveland could pick him up,
it would be huge, especially right now. I'm pretty sure that we struggle with a good tight end. It would definitely help with trying to get OBJ open. Right now, our starter at tight end is Ricky Seals-Jones. So,
Right. Well, nothing against Jones, but I'm sure it would be an upgrade. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I sure as hell hear the name Jimmy Graham a lot more than I hear that name. No offense again to Jones, but so another piece of news. We'll see how that falls. We'll see how that falls because with all the teams in the league and the needs and everything out there, it certainly sounds like Cleveland has the need, and Jimmy Graham is most certainly out there. They got the cap space; they can pay him. So we'll see what the hell happens in the draft and everything like that. Now, I don't know if you heard, the Tennessee Titans released their running back Dion Lewis. They also released their linebacker Cameron Wake. Now, I'm not sure what the thought process is there. I don't know what the situation is there, but the team announced Thursday they'll be freeing up close to $10 million in cap space by doing, having both of these released. Now, sounds to me like they're going after some big names in the draft. Now, coming off a Super Bowl, it's going to be interesting to see how they play this going forward. I know we talked about, the NFL talked about during the Super Bowl how that, we all knew the Titans were going to be pretty much 90 to 95% solid coming back into next year. We talked about the fact that they have locked in Ryan Tannehill for another 4 years, a massive contract. I don't know how much of that's guaranteed, but I would imagine damn near at least 80 to 90% of it. But this is a big deal, man. Dion Lewis is a beast at running back, and Cameron Wake is no joke at linebacker. That's a name you don't necessarily see on SportsCenter top 10, but you most definitely know the name.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? You think this is a draft move? They're freeing up cap space. They got an eye on somebody, or do you think this was just one of those things to where maybe they have somebody already in mind on the squad or maybe the practice squad that they can plug in their place? I mean, if they do, that's some big damn shoes to fill.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation they've got. Big draft class coming out. They could be making moves. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go. By the way, to your point, $62 million of that Tannehill contract is guaranteed cash.
That sounds about right. It's a little less than what I thought, but that sounds about right in today's NFL. I want to touch on this and see. Here's the thing: I want people to understand. When you hear these, like the Ryan Tannehills, you hear this contract he just signed. You think, man, he signed a contract, and there was a time to where when any professional athlete or hell any man or woman or any human being signed a contract, that you hear the word contract, you think final. It's 4 years, $118 million. This man's he's gonna play for 4 years. He's gonna make $118 million. But there's a lot of little fine print in those contracts. And for example, Lewis, that was just released by the Titans, he was signed to a 4-year, $19.8 million contract in 2018. Okay, key word, 4-year. Seems like the Titans like this 4-year deal. $19.8 million in 2018, and was set to hold $5.1 million cap number in 2020. So as you can see, they released him. Okay. So, I mean, these contracts aren't guaranteed. And Wake signed a 3-year, there's an exception to the 4-year rule, $23 million contract in 2019. Just this past year, and was set to hold a cap figure of 8.6 in 2020. And somebody obviously wasn't impressed with his skill set and his effort because, again, they've both been released. Now, the Lewis 29, Wake's 38. Wake's got some age on him as far as the NFL goes. They'll now be free to sign with other teams. Now, where do you think Lewis and Wake are going to land? You got a running back and a hell of a linebacker.
The possibilities are definitely endless. They really, depending on where they want to go, they've got pretty much the pick of the litter.
Well, there's a little known linebacker, middle linebacker, that just retired from the Carolina Panthers. So I would not be surprised to see a Jimmy Graham from tight end. I would not be surprised to see a Cameron Wake. Hell, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Deion Lewis pop up on the radar of the Carolina Panthers. So I'm definitely excited about free agency, as we all are. And it's going to be popping off here very soon because now it's past the hour. Free agency is open. And I do not think this year is going to be one of those years to where we're talking about free agency down to the wire. I think this is going to be one of those years where a lot of what you see on the free agency market is going to get snatched up quick, fast, and in a hurry. So stay tuned because it's going to be a ride. Now, Haystacks. I don't know how many people know this. To be sure, this has made its way down the wire and around the internet at this point. But we were talking World Wrestling Entertainment. We were talking about WrestleMania. And then we were talking about the Patriots. So you know where I'm going. You know where I'm getting to with this. There was a man that played for the Patriots that made an appearance at WrestleMania a few years back with his boy Mojo Rawley. Climbed in over the barricade, briefly held back by security thinking he was breaching before getting in the ring and making a shoulder tackle on Jinder Mahal, who at the time was big shit. Now, of course, I'm talking about Rob Gronkowski, who has apparently signed a deal with the WWE, not as a part-timer, but as a full-time wrestler. Now, apparently he'll be making his first appearance on Friday Night SmackDown this coming Friday. SmackDown Live on Fox. What's your take on that, Haystacks?
Man, you already know my opinion on this whole thing. It's really starting to feel like the pre-death of the WCW to me. Bringing in Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't bother me as much because he got his start in the wrestling world. But you're bringing in Ronda Rousey, and then you're bringing in whoever the other dude was from the UFC to mess with Lesnar with Rey Mysterio.
Cain Velasquez.
Now you're bringing in Gronkowski. What are we going to do? Are we going to have, during the Hall of Fame ceremony, are we going to have Gronk come out like Dennis Rodman with the NWO and spray paint somebody for crying out loud?
I see the point from a business aspect. And Gronkowski, I say Gronk and pause because they call him Gronk, but he's got the size. He's got the look. He definitely has the charisma. But here's my problem. I have no problem with athletes crossing over to the pro wrestling world. I really don't. It's just like the promo entertainment world or professional wrestlers crossing over into the acting world. If you're going to take it seriously and you're truly going to hone your craft, I don't want it to turn into one of those things that every time Gronkowski is cutting a promo, he's smiling because it's all a big joke to him. I don't want it to be one of those things, I'm going to kick your ass. If it's going to be that, then I would say, yeah, leave it alone. But looking at it from a business standpoint, from a Vince McMahon's, from the director's chair, so to speak, from the guy who's, making money off of this product, there's a hell of a lot of appeal bringing Gronkowski in. And they have a ready-made tag team set and ready to go. And I know if I'm Mojo Rawley behind the scenes, I'm thinking, creative ain't going to tell me they ain't got nothing for me now because it's all set and ready to go. I mean, you look at the shit that WWE has as tag team champions. I mean, it's a joke, the tag team division on both Raw and SmackDown, and hell, the wrestling world in general has been dead for, I can't even tell you how long. You got the Broken Hardys, and then you got the Briscoes, and you got a couple of other good ones out there. The rest of the shit is just mashed together, farmed together. So I'm kind of excited. I understand where you're coming from because I love pro wrestling just like you do, but I don't want to see it turn into a carousel of celebrities like you said. When I was good with Dennis Rodman in the NWO back in the day, I really was, because there was a cool element. He wasn't wrestling; he was just there. He's part of the clique.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it like that as far as Dennis Rodman goes, because the Rodman Malone angle, it worked. It made sense. But then when they had that success, then the next thing you know, you got David Arquette as your freaking world champion. No, absolutely not.
And I say, and I have to disagree with you. I was all about Dennis Rodman until they started the actual match between him and Karl Malone. If they would have kept Karl Malone in DDP's clique and Rodman in the NWO's clique, and then they kind of went at it in a street fight outside the ring during a match or something, that would have been cool. But to see those two actually wrestle, although they did hold their own, Karl Malone did a great job, by the way. The mailman, he did deliver. But then you had Jay Leno, which, no offense to Jay Leno, but that was horrible. And then you had, like you said, I could go on and on and on. So I feel you there. I do understand there. Ronda Rousey did okay. At least she put the effort in. But, man, it's a slippery slope. We'll see where it goes. I'm not going to get overly excited about it, but I'll be honest with you and tell you I will watch. And that's what they want. That's what makes them money. So the problem is the first episode he's on and the build-up in his first program and his first actual match, that's going to make or break the whole Gronkowski experiment. Now, if Gronkowski puts anywhere near the effort into pro wrestling as he did his football career, now we may be in for something. But anyway, moving on in baseball news, I don't know if you heard, the Baltimore Orioles outfielder Trey Mancini underwent successful surgery to remove a malignant tumor from his colon, the team announced this past Thursday. The tumor was discovered last week during a colonoscopy. The lab results and the timetable for Mancini's recovery will not be known until next week. He went on, he did make an announcement, and he said, "The outpouring of love and support I've received has made an extremely tough week so much better." Mancini said in a statement, "I have the best family, friends, and fans and teammates imaginable. I am also eternally thankful for the Orioles front office, our athletic trainers, and the entire medical staff for everything they have done to help me through this time. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone for their prayers and kind words, which have furthered my excitement to get back to playing the game I love." End quote. I think I speak for both of us here at the Point and the whole Point Nation when we say our prayers and thoughts are with Mancini and the Orioles organization. It sounds like a classy organization, and I just want to say, brother, keep your chin up. God has a plan. God is good. I don't know if did you hear this story?
I kind of got a little bit of a glimpse of it. I didn't really get to get into details, though.
Right. I mean, I think we can all, understand and agree that anytime you go in for a colonoscopy, you think it's routine no matter what your age is, and you come out, there's always, polyps this and polyps that, and precancerous this, precancerous. But you go in and you wake up and you're thinking everything's fine. They tell you, here you are, an athlete on top of the world, and they got a malignant tumor, and they got to remove it and test it. And now you got to sit at home, and you got to wait, and you're married and got kids. It's just got to be a stressful time. So again, prayers and thoughts going out to Mancini, man. I can't even imagine what that's like. We've all had family members. Everybody, it seems, has been touched by cancer, and just watch that process, and it's really not fun. So you're going to pull through it, brother. You're going to be just fine. I have no doubt in my mind. Now, in NBA news, Haystacks, Adam Silver says the NBA hiatus likely to last at least 30 days. Well, no shit. I want to hear your opinion. We got a little time. Normally we're crunched for time because the XFL is taking up our time, but I want to hear your opinion on this. Are these sports organizations, first and foremost, question one, how long do you think this is going to last before sports gets back to business as usual? And two, do you think this is an overreaction by plug and play the names, NBA, NHL, NCAA, and on and on and on?
I believe it's a huge overreaction. It's big knee jerk decision by everybody.
Do tell.
Look, here's the thing, man. It's just like everything else. And it's like I said, this thing is no different than the freaking flu, other than it's spread a lot easier.
And there's no vaccine.
Yeah, but at the same time, you look, 64,000 people in China where it originated have already recovered from it. So do you really need a vaccine for guys like me and you that are in good health? The only people that have any concern are elderly people or people with pre-existing conditions. So, as a sports team, put a caution sign up. Do not attend the games if you have pre-existing conditions, if you're elderly, if you don't bring your children, for crying out loud. Take the precautions, but don't shut the entire world down. I mean, just right off the top of my head, this never happened with bird flu. This never happened with swine flu. We went through SARS. We went through Zika, measles, mumps, anthrax. When they were putting anthrax through the mail, they never shut down the world.
Let me ask you though, do you think these suspensions of the seasons, let me give you an example. Do you think we're going to see the NBA Finals this year?
I'm hopeful, but here's my thing. How are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? If you lose 30 days, and I read off the top of my head, I can't remember with the NBA. What is it? 82 games that they play? So if 82 games, if you lose in 30 days, if you lose 18 games, are you going to extend the season another 30 days? Or are you just going to go with the current record and just wash that entire month's worth of schedules out? How are we going to do this?
Well, that would be how I would do it. I mean, for time purposes, because you got other sports, right? You don't want to cut into those ratings. Again, they're already losing their ass in ticket sales. No doubt. These teams are taking a massive hit. We're still waiting on Trump to announce whether or not he's going to, stifle the federal income tax, which would be huge. Yes. Of course, raise the deficit, but we're not going to get into politics. But I'm just saying, that would be huge to help make up for this, cluster F of a situation we got going on with the economy because of this COVID-19. But it seems to me that they would just leave off what the records are and then go from there, start the playoffs with just like WWE's doing, with no fans. And that would suck, yes, but at least the games will be contested. And it seems to me would cause a rating spike. Now, I don't have the ratings. I don't think the ratings are out yet for SmackDown. But I would imagine the ratings went up because it was something different, something fresh. It's kind of like when kids in school go on a field trip and everybody gets all excited. It's something different, right? That's why when it snows, there's more cars on the road because everybody wants to go out and see it, Right. So it's good and bad in both directions. But according to the CBA, Section 5 of a certain article of the CBA, the newest one in the NBA, players lose 92.6% of their salary for every game missed as a result of force major event. This refers to events or conditions that make it impossible for the NBA to perform its obligation under the CBA. So
Right.
the players are losing salary, but not a whole hell of a lot. So I don't know. Of course, LeBron, I guess you got your wish, as usual. God forbid the prima donna James doesn't get what the hell he wants. But anyway, moving on. They're losing money, but they're not losing a lot. So I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to be sitting at home crying about it. Because from what I understand, well, I'll leave it there. I'm not going to touch anything else there. Now, we touched on another subject earlier. I think it was yesterday, me and you were talking about it. The NCAA has decided to suspend all recruiting through April 15th, but they have also decided to extend another year. Has that been cleared yet? To extend another year of eligibility?
It was that they are going to give everybody their year of eligibility back. I knew it was talked about, but I didn't hear if it was approved. I'm pretty sure that it was approved, though.
That's huge.
That is
you
huge.
And I know for organizations such as, well, unless you're the Tar Heels, right? Just cut bait, let them go. But now, another year of eligibility for some of these guys that are major stars, it's just going to make them that much better. Give them, I mean, I can't even. We're going to see some crazy shit next year.
Yeah.
Both NFL, NBA, XFL, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, I never got to. And they're going to. Now, here's the thing. On the flip side of that, you got to stay and play in shape. Just because you ain't playing games, you can't sit back and chill. So it's going to be interesting next year. It really is, especially with this free agency across the board, man. It's going to be insane. Now, I want to take this time right here, right now, to give a shout out to Sand Hills Community College Flyers, who went into they won the region tournament, Region X, Region 10 champions, won the district tournament, become district champions, went to Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota, and to the national tournament. They were the number one team in the country with a regular season record of 28-2. They not only took out the first team, they had a first round bye. The first team they played, they took out, which I believe was the home team, which is the Yellow Jackets there. And semifinals was a rough game. It wasn't pretty. I think they'll admit that. I think Coach Apple would admit that. It was a rough game. Of course, we're talking about Sand Hills because that's the home team here. That's my boys. They made it to the championship game. They actually won and made it to the national championship, Division III NJCAA men's basketball. But because of COVID-19, coronavirus, instead of playing the championship the next day after winning the semifinal, they played the semifinal at 12 o'clock and had to play the national championship at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central Time. So I'm very happy to say, very excited to say, once again, for the second time in 8 years, your Sand Hills Community College Flyers are national champions. And man, what a game. The odds were stacked against them the entire time. They could not do anything right in the first half. And, man, it was crazy. It was really crazy. It came down to the wire. They were having their ass kicked the whole game, and they pulled it out. So, again, congratulations. I was there in person today as they made their arrival back at home. And couldn't be more proud of those guys. We're losing a lot of them this year. It's a rebuilding year. We had a lot of sophomores, of course, junior college being 2 years. So we're going to have a lot of these guys hopefully moving on to 4-year schools and not only becoming better athletes, but better men and human beings. So congratulations again to the Sand Hills Flyers. Well, I'm sure we'll be hanging that banner here real soon. Coach Apple, he got coach of this, coach of that. I mean, he's just on top of things. Dent, player of the tournament, MVP. Man, it was absolutely insane. But just want to give props and shout out to them. And I think the last thing to touch on, the biggest thing, other than Calais Campbell, I don't know if you heard, Calais Campbell got traded by the Jags to the Ravens for a 5th-round pick. And that was kind of a kick between the legs. Calais Campbell, I think, is worth a hell of a lot more than a 5th-round pick, but it is what it is. I think the biggest thing we need to touch on is something we touched on in the fast break. And I need to shut up and let you talk a little bit. But, look, man, the NFL CBA, I didn't think it was going to happen.
No.
I mean,
I was amazed when I saw that vote actually happened and it actually passed.
And passed by the amount of votes it did.
Right. It wasn't even close. 62 votes, I think, was what it won by.
Yeah, it was 1,019 to 959. I mean, it was, I don't understand the concept of extending the season like that, because you have to understand, by extending the regular season to 17 games, that adds a whole lot more time to the year, and then of course you expand the playoffs 2 more teams, which expands. What it does is it cuts into the XFL season.
Yep.
And I do believe that had a lot to do with this, because I didn't hear any talk of this CBA crap in the 17 game. I mean, you heard rumblings of it, but they didn't get serious until the XFL kicked in. And you understand, the XFL started the week after the Super Bowl, and or 2 weeks. But now the XFL is going to have to rethink next year.
Yeah.
They're going to have to play off of the NFL, because you don't want to be competing with the NFL when you're a new league, man. And
especially having your first season back get cut in half.
Exactly. I mean, the XFL's up against it, man. I don't know if this it just certainly seems to be raining shit on not only the sports world but the XFL right now. But to be fair, it was a hell of a half season, man.
Yes.
I don't give a damn what anybody says. Yeah, the ratings were leveling out. The attendance was rising. I think all it's going to do is add to the legend, to the myth. And when they come back, it's going to be crazy. And I can't wait to see it. Real quick notes, like I touched on in the fast break. Again, extended 17-game regular season, extended the playoffs, or expanded by 2 more teams. Performance-based pay, player revenue, of course, is going to go up because there's more games. There's a whole hell of a lot of other shit that's involved as well. Like, they're now not going to be testing or suspending players for testing positive for marijuana. But the details of that aren't quite as clear. Although, let me explain. No more suspension for a positive marijuana test. Reduced testing to only 2 weeks before the start of camp, or at the start of camp, when before it was 4 months. And not only that, now they're allowed to have 150 nanograms of it in their system versus what they had before at 35 nanograms. Now, I'm not a doctor, but that's a hell of a lot bigger number. So I'm guessing the NFL is going along with the rest of the country and saying, hey, smoke yourself to death or half retarded, and we'll figure it out later. Which I do believe at some point in time, when they figure out people are getting lung cancer and everything else and they have to pay for it, much like the damn concussions, then they'll probably curtail that a little bit.
Notice the rise in legalizing marijuana and these players getting busted for it kind of coincides with CTE. You're already smoking your brain to mush.
Yep, but absolutely. So
again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving you my common sense opinion.
True story. And what do we know? A lot of them claim it helps them with this, that, and the other. Hey, the law is what the law is. You can't fight it. So we'll see what the long-term effects of this is. Now, that's all I got for this week. Unfortunately, the sports world is under attack, it seems, like the rest of the world. Like common sense from COVID-19. I love how they shorten that up to make it all cool and special, like for your social media posts. COVID-19.
Got to have your hashtag.
Which all that is shortened up for coronavirus blah, 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 kicked off in the year 2019 in Wuhan, China. But you know what? I'm not going to touch on that anymore because I have my opinions. You have your opinions. We both spoke on those. So coming up here real soon, The Point, because this is The Point after all. So coming up here real soon, it is Haystacks' turn to drop the point on you. And ladies and gentlemen, it's coming. So Haystacks, give it to him raw, give it to him true. Don't hold back. Put your foot on the throat and don't let up until the heart stops.
One more thing that I wanted to touch on. One more thing. And you can delete this or cut it off at the end if you want to. But there's a guy that I know that he won't toot his horn himself. But it's sports related. So everybody from myself and all around the world, everybody make sure to give a congratulations to your boy Rick for his induction into the Hall of Gods in the promo entertainment world. Huge news for anybody that's followed the career of the last 2.5 years. I know that he probably don't want me to say it. If you want to delete it, you can. Brother, you earned it. You deserve it. We love you for it. And it's huge news for anybody that knows you, that has seen where you've come, seen where you've gone, and everything that's happened. So everybody make sure to give Rick a huge congratulations on his induction and his rightful spot right along with Mr. Entertainment Angelo Lowe Johns. Both of these guys. If it wasn't for them, about 2 years ago, the promo world would not be where it went when it peaked and where it is today.
Man, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for that. I do appreciate that. And I don't want to give too much away for the acceptance speech. But you know, my daddy told me a long time ago, if you stick your toe in the water, you better stick it all the way in and go 100,000% or back your ass out. Because if not, you're going to have to deal with me. 100% or nothing. And, you know, so I've always kind of looked at things. The Point, promo world, my family, my job. I give it 110% friendships, just being a human being. Try to be 100%, try not to be an asshole, try to be real as I can possibly be, and to be honored like this amongst my peers, to be recognized in any way, shape, or form in anything you do and give 100% to. I'm humbled. And to be going in with, you know, Angelo, Mr. Entertainment, man, what else can I say? I mean, hell, as far as promo entertainment goes, it wasn't Rick. It was somebody else, but it was, you know, I was standing behind the costume. So, uh, again, I really appreciate that. I do. And y'all had to stay tuned. You have to stay tuned. Combat Universal Promos. We'll announce the date later on. Scotty kind of put me on blast, but it's all good. I love you for it, man, because that's the kind of friend and guy you are.
Man, I didn't know if you wanted to add that in there or not, but big shout out. Again, guys, a lot of people don't know the story behind the promo world. There was a lot of nonsense, a lot of drama. And for us to be able to walk into Champions Universe and right out the gate, you know, Steven, I'm not going to butcher his last name, Jamie Klump, Chris Ishler, One Legacy Rosario, Angelo Lowe Johns, for these guys to not only accept us back into their group and, you know, to honor Rick and Angelo with this, when a year ago we weren't on the greatest of terms, really shows their character, and it shows the brotherhood of what the promo world was originally supposed to be, that everybody comes together as one. And you know, there's not two guys in this world and in this promo world that deserves to be in there more than you guys. I got into this because of you guys, and 2 years later, here we are still going strong.
Yeah, and hey, I appreciate that, man. Again, anytime you're recognized by your peers as being something special, it's kind of hard to frown on that. You know what I mean? But somebody's inducting me, and they're looking at me on the other side of the screen here, and I can't wait.
Hey, I wasn't going to toot my own horn because I tooted yours for you, but man, like I said, 2 years. 2 years we've traveled down this proverbial road.
Up and down.
Man, to be asked not only by you but by Chris to do this induction, it's by far the most humbling experience of my life, man. I don't want to say yet. I've been working on it. I'm going to try to make everybody proud, but it's a huge honor, and I greatly appreciate everybody over at CU for giving me that opportunity. And also this Saturday, the opportunity that we have to go for tag team championships with my other brother from another mother, Mr. Junior Ishler, a.k.a. the Rising Sun.
Absolutely, man. And look, no doubt, 110%, your boy will be watching, man. Pulling for y'all 110% because it's always. So, anyway, it's been a hell of an episode despite the BS. Damn coronavirus. The point is always here to stay. And Haystacks and your boy Ricky B is going to be right there for the ride. No matter what happens, the highs, the lows, the in-between, you can always count on death, taxes, and the damn point. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another successful episode, and I'm going to leave you with my boy, brother from another mother, my brother, period, Haystacks, to drop the point on you. Haystacks, lay it on them, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, week 6 is in the books. And we again find ourselves asking, what is the point this week? I think that this week, the point is, whether we're quarantined, whether the sports world, whether the world itself is shut down, one way or another, the point will be here for every single one of you. We appreciate everything that everybody does, all the views, all the comments, all the shares, the likes, the subscriptions. And this is why we do this. Again, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, be safe, and be healthy. Next week, hopefully we'll have some more good news.